Divine Selves. Today we are going to practice Nidhidhyasana for self-realization, profound Vedantic meditation for self-realization, for self-discovery, for self-knowledge, for ignorance of self alone is a root cause of all sorrows, sufferings, fears and frustrations in life. Unless and until we come to know our true nature for ourselves through personal, direct, immediate, intuitive experience of the self that is an eternal, immutable and absolute reality, there is no hope of permanent cessation of the chain of sorrows, sufferings, birth, death, fears, frustrations, and attainment of unbroken bliss. Every human being, or for that matter, every living being, consciously or unconsciously, through every act, whether verbal, physical or mental, is seeking nothing but bliss. Every moment we are seeking nothing but bliss. Bliss is a very profound and technical term in Vedanta philosophy. Bliss is an absolute state, unconditioned, unbroken, uncaused, self-existing state or nature of the Atman, of the nature of pure consciousness. And that bliss alone manifests as momentary sensual pleasures, love or expression of love for someone or from someone, the beauty in the world of names and forms that we feel so attracted to. These are all poor and pale shadows of the infinite and absolute bliss that is so intrinsic, inherent and natural to our true self. So let's go and begin the discovery of our true self, the immortal absolute reality, the innermost core of our existence. We are going to take the help of Ribhu Gita's 22nd chapter, which is now describing the ultimate reality. Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. The entire universe is verily Brahman. The Jiva and the Jagat, the individual self and the phenomenal universe are nothing and nothing but Brahman alone. Every single form, every single name with certain attributes is nothing but manifestation of that supreme reality, the Paramatman, the supreme self, the Brahman. So there is nothing apart from or separate from or other than the Brahman in every name, form and attribute too. Let's see how Sage Ribhu is explaining this mystery, so that after listening to this truth, we will reflect and contemplate on the teachings of Ribhu to ascertain the true and immediate significance for us of those teachings. And after that, we would do profound Vedantic meditation that is called Nidhidhyasana in Vedanta. It's a profound Vedantic meditation that's a key to the self-discovery. It opens the doorway. It opens the doorway. It shows the doorway. It's a key to the doors of the infinite empire of self, that you are, that I am, that Brahman I am, that Brahman you are. Chapter 22, Ribhu Gita. Brahma Sarva Rupatva Nirupana Prakaranam. Topic of the ascertainment of Brahman being all forms. Brahman in his or its primary pure nature is always nameless, formless, attributeless, and yet the Brahman alone appears in every name, the Brahman alone appears in every form, and Brahman alone manifests in every attribute or quality of the nature and the phenomenal universe. Therefore, there is nothing other than the Brahman. The forms and names too are nothing but modifications of pure consciousness. Pure consciousness is the essence of Brahman, the Atman. Awareness alone is the source, substance and substratum of entire existence. The existence absolute and immutable, eternal, unborn existence is of the nature of pure consciousness, the light of pure consciousness, and that pure consciousness in its original, natural, pure form is formless, nameless and attributeless, non-dual, without any distinction or differentiation, and yet in every distinction, every diversity, every differentiation, every name and form, the one non-dual Brahman of the nature of pure consciousness alone appears as modification of consciousness, as modulation and modification of consciousness. All the names and forms create an illusory appearance, but the ultimate power or the source, substance of and substratum of every form is nothing but Brahman alone. That is what Sage Ribhu is going to explain in this chapter, and we have to practice Nidhidhyasana on the same after ascertaining and understanding the true meaning of this statement that all forms are nothing but Brahman, or Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Ribhu, I shall tell you about the well-known self, the illuminator of all the worlds, with all manner of forms, ever settled everywhere, dense and great. I am that Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi, Sohamasmi, Brahmaivahamasmi. I am that Brahman, I am that Supreme Reality. Sohamasmi, Sohamasmi. Meditate on this. There is no doubt of this. Being of this conviction, stand firm. I am consciousness alone. Chidaivoham, 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 Chidaivoham. I am consciousness alone. Chidanandarupaha Shivoham, Shivoham. I am always Shiva, of the nature of blissful consciousness alone. Shiva is nothing but infinite, eternal, absolute, unconditioned, non-dual, pure consciousness, the blissful consciousness. That Shiva I am, that Shiva you are. I am consciousness alone, I am consciousness alone. Meditate on this. Whatever is manifold is I myself. The entire world of diversity and duality is nothing but modification of myself, modification of pure consciousness, modification of one non-dual indivisible Atman. I am the end of words. I am God, consciousness indeed. Beyond the mind, I am indeed consciousness, the Supreme Brahman. Consciousness is the abode of all. Very profound statement. Essentially, everything, everyone, all the universes you see or imagine or conceive or perceive or realize are essentially residing in nothing but pure consciousness. You remove the pure consciousness, you remove the background of pure consciousness, and everything collapses to nothingness. This could be experienced right now, right here, with due diligence, with sharp intellect. Abode, pure, everything exists in the seed form, every name, form, and attribute exists, abides in consciousness alone in the seed form. Therefore, consciousness alone is abode of all. That is the supreme abode. What, after instruction of Paramahansa Shukadeva, King Parikshit realizes at the end of 7th day of Bhagavatam, this only, that I am the supreme abode. Am Brahma Param Dhamam Brahmaham Paramam Padam. I am Param Dhama. Aham Brahma Param Dhama. I, the Brahman of the nature of pure consciousness, am the ultimate abode, supreme abode. And that supreme and ultimate abode am I. Aham Brahma Param Dhamam Brahmaham Paramam Padam. The supreme state, the ultimate abode, the eternal abode of all is nothing but Brahman of the nature of pure consciousness. The same truth is here being revealed by Ribhu, saying that consciousness is the abode of all. This is a rational statement. You investigate this statement, you will realize for yourself it's not a matter of belief. Vedanta is not a matter of faith or belief. You investigate within yourself your true nature and you would realize there is nothing beyond your consciousness. Everything, every name, form, world, relative, good, bad, ugly object or things or beings you have seen, you are perceiving or you can imagine is nothing and nothing but an object or illusion or an image in pure consciousness. Everything ever abides in pure consciousness. There is nothing outside pure consciousness. Everything is upon, through, and within that pure consciousness. And that pure consciousness is infinite, non-dual light of pure intelligence. That is your ultimate abode. And that's why samadhi or complete absorption is nothing but abidance in the self, abidance in consciousness. When consciousness is conscious of consciousness alone, that is called the fourth state or nirvikalpa samadhi. That alone reveals the true nature of the self, which is called self-realization or nirvana, enlightenment, or God realization, or Brahman realization, or moksha, or liberation. They are words only, but that state, at least in the Advaita Vedanta philosophy, that exactly is what happens. Once you abide in the self, that is, abide in pure consciousness, you attain your true nature, you become pure, which is intrinsic to you. All impurity is because of distraction from that abidance in pure self. That is why every spiritual endeavor is an effort to take you back to the source of your existence and abide there in the heart. In the heart and mind, there you are. You must go back to your source, because that alone is your supreme resort, ultimate abode. This profound statement has to be understood, to be experienced, the glory of that supreme abode. Ordinarily, that is what is called Vaikuntha Dham or Moksha. This gross body is only consciousness. This gross body is only consciousness, in the sense that apart from consciousness there is no body, apart from consciousness there is no world, apart from and separate from consciousness there is no gross object. No phenomenal universe or object of universe ever exists apart from consciousness, and that consciousness is Brahman. Therefore, this body too is nothing but Brahman. The mind too, the essence of mind too is nothing but pure consciousness. That consciousness is Brahman. What Upanishads say? Prajnanam Brahma. Consciousness is Brahman. And that consciousness alone is manifesting, radiating, animating, illuminating everything in this body. Therefore, in essence, this body though appears as a name and form with certain attributes, but is nothing but pure consciousness. I can't speak, you can't listen, nothing can this body do without consciousness. Every sense, whether cognitive or motor sense organs, can do anything without consciousness. Consciousness is substratum of body, senses, mind, intellect. Everything happens in the light of pure consciousness, through the light of pure consciousness, in and upon the infinite canvas of or space of pure consciousness. All this happens. Therefore, this body too is consciousness, and consciousness is Brahman. Therefore, even in deepest sense, this body and the gross world outside the phenomenal universe is nothing but Brahman. Sarvam khalvidam Brahma. It's so scientific, rational, logical, you understand it. There is nothing other than the pure consciousness, and that pure consciousness is Brahman. Prajnanam Brahma, one of the Mahavakyas of Upanishads. And therefore, since the body, the mind, the intellect, the senses, and the entire phenomenal universe get illumined, animated, enlivened by none other than the light of pure consciousness. In the light of pure consciousness alone, this body shines. This body can't shine. None of the senses can shine without consciousness. Therefore, in ultimate reality, this body too is Brahman, because the body too is being illumined and animated by nothing but consciousness, and consciousness is verily Brahman, Prajnanam Brahma. The self, the Brahman or consciousness are interchangeable. Synonyms in a deeper sense. Consciousness is Brahman. Self is Brahman. The self is of the nature of consciousness, pure intelligence, pure awareness, pure consciousness. The subtle body is only consciousness, not only this gross body. The gross body, the subtle body, that is inner equipments, the mind, intellect, chitta, memory, and ego, ahankar. They are also in essence nothing but consciousness, and the causal body too is nothing but pure consciousness. That is what says Ribhu is saying. The body is indeed only consciousness. The undivided mode, the best, the middling, and the bad are consciousness. I indeed am consciousness devoid of a body. In my pure identity and nature as pure consciousness, I am devoid of all forms and names, and therefore I am devoid of all bodies. Body presupposes a form, and I am in my primary reality, formless, nameless, attributeless. That is what he is suggesting. Try to understand it. Only when you listen to it very deeply and contemplate upon it, the same statement for dozens and hundreds of times, and then practice Nidhidhyasana for a longer period of time on these small but fundamental revelations, then you begin to penetrate the deepest mystery of your existence, your life, yourself, right through Nidhidhyasana. Consciousness is the cause, and that I am. Consciousness is cause of all. Consciousness is the creator. Consciousness alone is the ultimate creator of all the universes, all the names, forms, and attributes. Through imagination, through modulation and modification, consciousness alone appears as the world of, and the objects of, and the beings of forms and names. I indeed am consciousness alone without an intellect. I indeed am consciousness without any bhava. Consciousness alone I am. Consciousness alone I am. Prajnanam Brahma. Consciousness is verily Brahman, and that consciousness I am. Chidoham. I am consciousness. Chidaivoham. Bliss, great bliss, all bliss, the true, the great are all non-existent indeed. I alone am. I in my deepest nature of the nature of pure consciousness alone exists. I am that I am. This statement of this line, I am that I am, is the most fundamental non-dual teaching or revelation in Bible. It encompasses everything that Advaita Vedanta tries to teach. I am, this I means your I consciousness, the I capital, the infinite, eternal, formless I consciousness alone I am. Therefore, I am that I am. That I-ness, nobody and no being is without I-ness. I-ness exists ever. Even a most stupid person, even an confirmed atheist, can't deny the existence of I consciousness. Everybody says, you say, who are you? I am this. What is that I? Though it superficially is an introduction of the name and form and individuality, but after you remove that name, form and superimposition of individual ego, then you find that the I consciousness is not limited to the body and senses and thoughts. I consciousness is an eternal, infinite, birthless and deathless reality. And that I am that. So meditate on that. I am Brahman, this is Brahman, the sanctified letter Kam is Brahman. All are non-existent, indeed I alone am. All are non-existent means all the world of names and forms and attributes is non-existent without me. I am source, substance and substratum of everything, every world, every form, name. So in this sense, they are all non-existent. I coming into existence. I coming into existence, the entire existence shines forth. By my dissolution and my disappearance, everything dissolves, everything disappears. I am the ultimate substratum and background and basis of everything, entire existence. Realize that. Contemplate on this, meditate on this. Vishnu indeed is the supreme Brahman. Shiva and Brahma are only myself. Shiva and Brahma and Vishnu are none other than me. The I consciousness, the eternal I consciousness. Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh are not separate from me, apart from me, other than me. I alone appear as Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, because I am infinite, eternal, absolute reality called Brahman or Paramatman or Supreme Self of the nature of pure consciousness. Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh appear in me, exist in me, dissolve into me only. But I never ever arise or exist or dissolve. I am an eternal, immutable reality in my primary identity, my true nature. The ear is Brahman, the supreme Brahman. The sound and auspicious words are Brahman. These words I am speaking or you are listening. They are nothing but Brahman, Brahman of the nature of pure consciousness or pure intelligence. I can't speak anything without pure intelligence. You can't understand anything. You can't make any sense outside intelligence. And my intelligence, the intelligence of the speaker and the intelligence of the listener is not true. Due to illusion, it appears to. Intelligence is a vast, indivisible mass of pure consciousness. So, I and you are illusory appearances as to the world of, in the world of and realm of duality, in one non-dual pure consciousness, in one non-dual pure Brahman, I and you, the speaker and the listener, appear due to illusion created by mind and thoughts. The touch is a word for Brahman, so also is skin. All the sensory feelings, cognitive faculties and sense objects are nothing but consciousness, modification of consciousness. Every experience through nose, eyes, ears, tongue or skin is essentially the experience in, upon and through pure consciousness, the Atman. One Atman. In one Atman, all this is happening. And through that Atman, everything is being made possible. Let the nature of the Supreme be likewise united with all the I's. All are non-existent. Non-existent indeed, I alone am. Apart from me, other than me, of the nature of pure consciousness, everything else is non-existent, illusory, unreal, a mirage, as in the case of desert. The mirage creates an illusion of the water body. Even so, in me, the pure consciousness, the Brahman, the entire world of duality and phenomenal universe appears as a mirage. But apart from me, nothing exists. I am alone the supreme reality. I am Brahman. Meditate on this. Abide on this truth. Brahman alone is all, always only existence, consciousness, bliss, Sacchidananda. Brahman is always of the nature of Sacchidananda, existence absolute, consciousness absolute, bliss absolute. I am only bliss, full of consciousness. I am this universe, all this always, all is non-existent. I alone am. Apart from me and other than me, nothing exists. I alone am. Contemplate on this and abide in this. Whatever name is uttered by the mouth and whatever is thought of by the mind is all non-existent. Non-existent, indeed, I alone am. The words that I am uttering, that are spoken through this mouth, in essence are non-real, unreal, illusory, in the sense there is nothing called word. It's only modulation and modification of pure consciousness. Whatever is imagined as the cause, whatever remains always silent, whatever is experienced by the body, and whatever is contemplated upon by the senses is all non-existent, non-existent, and I alone am. The world of names and forms is, which is perceived by the senses, is non-existent. And what is in existence? One non-dual pure consciousness, the light of pure consciousness, pure awareness, pure intelligence alone is the reality, and in that pure consciousness, pragya, which is Brahman, everything illumines everything, every name and form gets animated and enlivened, and that consciousness I am, that Brahman I am. Contemplate on this. All is non-existent is the good mantra. Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. That you heard. Jagat Mithya, the world of the sensory perception, that is physical phenomenal world, is essentially non-existent. And that is this realization, this conviction is a very powerful mantra. What is mantra? Mantra is a seed, conviction, a central, powerful thought which takes you to the supreme and deepest level of the reality. When you are in this conviction that all is non-existent, Jagat Mithya, this realization, this conviction is great mantra, greatest, very deepest, silent conviction. Every mantra is supposed to unravel and reveal the mystery of the existence. That is what it's doing. Jiva is of the nature of Brahman. All is Brahman alone. This mantra is indeed the best of the best. Essentially, he is saying that Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya Jivo Brahmaivana Paraha. This is the best mantra to abide in this conviction. First to listen this from a competent self-realized master, then contemplate and understand it, and then practice Nidhidhyasana and abide in this truth. This abidance in this truth that the entire physical phenomenal universe is false, and the physical phenomenal universe and this individual identity, ego-based identity too, is nothing but Brahman alone. Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya Jivo Brahmaivana Paraha. This is the greatest of the greatest mantra. This is the highest of the higher mantras. Hold on to this, contemplate on this, meditate on this, and then get absorbed in this supreme reality that all is nothing but Atman, Brahman, of the nature of pure consciousness, ever present and illumining every single experience of mind. That pure consciousness is ever seated at the core of your heart in intellect. It ever shines forth. Realize that. That is the greatest mantra, that is the greatest spiritual practice. The highest mantra and highest spiritual practice this is, to realize that Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya Jivo Brahmaivana Paraha. The Brahman alone is the ultimate reality, the supreme truth. This physical universe, the phenomenal universe, is false, illusory, and this individual Jiva too is nothing but Brahman. This Jagat, the physical universe, phenomenal universe too, is nothing but a modulation and modification of Brahman alone. All is Brahman alone. Abide in this conviction and become free from all fears. The experience that all is Brahman is all embracing. All embracing. In this experience, you attain everything that you wanted to attain. You know everything that you wanted to know ever. You enjoy everything that you ever wanted to enjoy. This experience takes you to the ultimate glory, the supreme and deepest reality of the existence, that is your true, immortal, infinite, blissful nature. That is why this is all embracing. There is nothing outside it. Once you realize, by that is what is teaching even in Chandogya Upanishad, by attaining one you attain all. What is that? By knowing which you end up knowing all. What is that? By enjoying that one you end up enjoying the unbroken bliss, uncaused bliss of all. This is the Brahman realization that Brahman alone is the reality, the basis, background, substratum of entire universe, and all the jivas are nothing but Shiva alone. This is all embracing. There is nothing remains to be achieved. There nothing remains to be known thereafter. There nothing remains to be enjoyed thereafter, because that one indivisible, non-dual reality gives the experience of infinity, almighty, because beyond that nothing exists. That in that experience you realize that you are omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent self of the nature of pure consciousness. Therefore, nothing remains to be done, nothing remains to be known, nothing remains to be attained or acquired or enjoyed Why? Because in realization of your true nature, all this is accomplished. That is why that state of self-realization, enlightenment or moksha is called the state of kritakritya, transcending and going beyond the do's and don'ts. Nothing remains to be done or not to be done. You transcend all in realizing that one truth. The determination that Brahman is all destroys existence and non-existence. The determination that all is Brahman is itself Mahadeva, the great Lord. There is no doubt of this. That realization, that knowledge of the self and Brahman itself is Mahadeva, Lord Mahadeva, Lord Shiva. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. My experience that I am ever of the nature of blissful consciousness and I am Shiva. I am Shiva, I am Mahadeva of the nature of blissful consciousness. This is the highest realization, greatest accomplishment, and the higher than the highest bliss it is. Superior than the supreme glory it is. Nothing is higher and superior than this realization. By this one realization you realize and attain and know all. The determination that Brahman is all liberates one from existence of time. The determination that all is Brahman liberates one from existence as body. You are always frightened by body only. Currently, the entire humanity is facing the specter of death, disease, affliction, infection due to COVID-19, coronavirus, corona pandemic. Why? Because you have created an illusory reality, identity of yourself, the body. Once you know the truth of your true self, you transcend the sense of time. The body alone exists in the time, but the Atman, the illuminator of this body and senses, that pure consciousness is beyond time and space. It always was, it always will remain. There is no death to the Atman, there is no birth in the Atman or to the Atman, therefore no fear of death. The ultimate freedom from all fears alone is called moksha, and that freedom comes only by realizing your immortal, true, eternal nature, your Brahmanhood, your Shivahood, your Atmanhood. You become free from all fear only by knowing your true nature and not by anything else. The entire wealth of the world and the planet, the entire glamour, glory and political power or military power, even if in your possession, can't make you free from fear of death, free from fear of suffering and sorrow. Only and only by knowing your true self, that you are Brahman eternal, you become free from all worries, anxieties, fears of disease, death, affliction, sorrow, suffering. Because in your true self, in pure self, there is no affliction, there is no want, no deprivation, no suffering. That is why it's called pure, Niranjan, Nishkal, Nishpap, Nirdosh. It's a taintless, ever pure reality. Nothing can touch it. It is beyond all attachments. The determination that all is Brahman is of the nature of existence, consciousness and bliss. This realization is alone Sacchidananda, Satchit Ananda. I am all indeed, Brahman alone. All is indeed only Brahman alone. Sarvam khal vidam Brahma. Sarvam khal vidam Brahma. Abide in this truth. Abide in this truth. All the gods and demons are misapprehensions, their wars and origins too. The legends of birth of the incarnations of Vishnu and their dissolution are likewise misapprehensions. It's imagination, not in absolute reality. Various incarnations of Vishnu too, or variety of gods and goddesses, they are all imaginary in the realm of minds and ignorance. The creative activities of Brahma and the lore about Rudra are all full of misapprehension. It's by misapprehension that the worlds are considered to be 14, 14 bhuvan. The 14 worlds are just all of them are imaginary, mental creation. In the true Brahman there are no worlds, there is no name and form. It's ever pure, pristine, one eternal, indivisible reality. The division into castes and orders of life is a misapprehension, there is no doubt of this. The worshipful meditation on Brahma, Vishnu, Isha, Rudra and others is misapprehension, because all forms are ultimately misapprehension in the sense that they are imaginations or appearances through modification and modulation of the pure consciousness, that is Brahman, the Atman. There is no existence of any name and form ever. That one formless, nameless, attributeless Brahman alone appears as the entire universe and world of names, forms and attributes. And that Brahman you are, that Brahman I am. Contemplate on this and abide in this truth. This will liberate you from all fears, sorrows and sufferings, and you will attain immediately liberation, the Moksha, the ultimate glory and objective of your life. So also there is only misapprehension of yantra and mantra. There is no doubt of this. Brahman is beyond the range of words. That is what's called the truth is inexplicable. Brahman is ever inexplicable, anirvachaniya. The words are an attempt to indicate something, point out something, but the pointer is not the pointed. The milestone is not the destination. The words are only a pointer, a poor, helpless attempt by the mind to indicate something, but the indicated one is totally different. The indicated one in the Vedas, Upanishads, Vedanta, or even Bible or Dhampad, the indicated one is essentially inexplicable. That supreme reality can be only experienced in the deepest of meditation, nirvikalpa samadhi. It can be intuitively and intimately experienced only. No amount of reading the scriptures is going to reveal that supreme truth, even though reading of the sacred scriptures is important, instrumental, but you must go within the truth, the ultimate reality, the Brahman, the nameless, formless Brahman doesn't reside in the books, howsoever sacred they may be. The Brahman resides within you, within me. That is why the greatness of Vedas is that Vedas declare that I am not the truth, you are truth. The truth is within you. The Vedas are declaring and addressing the human beings that I am not the truth. I may be helpful, I may be an aid to, a pointer towards that Brahman, but the Brahman is in essence not within me. The Brahman is ever present within you. And you alone therefore discover the Brahman which and who is ever present within you alone. The truth, the Atman, the Brahman is an ever present reality within you. That is what He says, Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, Ishwarah sarvabhutanam hrideshe arjuna tisthati brahmayan sarvabhutani yantrarudhani mayaya tameva sharanam gaccha sarvabhavena bharata. Take refuge in that Supreme, the Ishvara that is ever residing in your heart and every being's heart. That is ultimate bhakti, that is the true meaning of devotion. Abidance in self, abidance in your light of consciousness is ultimate bhakti, the greatest bhakti. That is what Lord Krishna is saying. Take refuge in that self which is ever present within you. Most of the people don't understand. They think that Lord Krishna is saying that, oh, come and take refuge to me, fall down on my feet. He is not saying that. Whenever in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna is saying I or me, he is referring to the Atman, the Brahman, which and who is ever present in everyone, within everything. All is non-existent indeed, all is non-existent indeed. I indeed am only consciousness alone. Say so and stand firm. You shall instantly become liberated. You shall instantly become liberated by this conviction that Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha Pragyanam Brahma. This entire phenomenal universe is false, illusory, and Brahman alone is truth. All jivas are nothing but Brahman, all jagats, all phenomenal universes are nothing but Brahman, and Brahman is of the nature of pure consciousness. I am nothing but pure consciousness. Abide in this truth, contemplate on this, meditate on this, practice Nidhidhyasana on this. Pragyanam Brahma Chidanandarupah Shivoham Shivoham Chidanandarupah Shivoham Shivoham. That is the essence of this mantra. Understand this, contemplate on this, meditate on this, and get absorbed in this reality that I am always Shiva, Shiva of the nature of bliss consciousness. I am ever an infinite embodiment of love, bliss and beauty. I am embodiment of pure consciousness. Chidanandarupah Shivoham Shivoham.